President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa has been re-elected president of the Republic after a very rough election in South Africa. What's up, everybody? I'll be doing good. It's a beautiful day for South Africans that are going to see a brand new dawn. I believe and I hope, really. Very rough stories. I think we have to talk about this. As Africans in general, South Africa is a very delicate country, one of the most stable democracies in Africa, which is a very good thing. You know, it's one of the most industrialized countries in Africa, if not the most. It gives us a lot of hope. Sorry, man. I mean, I'm carrying this like this. I was just about to leave. I need to go and have a party, but because I love you very much, I had to do this for you. Okay. So why is this important? President Cyril Ramaphosa belongs to the ANC, which is a political party, mostly black people in this political party. That political party is where Nelson Mandela came from. We all know who Nelson Mandela is. And that is a political party, at least one of them, that spent so much of themselves to acquire democracy in South Africa. I remind you here that South Africa became a free country, really, only in 1994. Unlike many African nations, where in the 1960s, Kenya, Uganda, Congo, Rwanda, and many other countries were already, Nigeria, were already democratic. But unfortunately, we need to say have struggled to develop. Was that influenced perhaps by the white people that stayed in South Africa until late? Question mark. However, what we're seeing right now is we know that South Africa is going through the most for the longest time. While many countries in Africa were free already, South Africans still live under the shackle of apartheid. And apartheid is basically putting people apart. Okay, black people, you go in that corner, that stinky corner, with pigs and rats and cockroaches, while white people are in nice places, nice houses, nice school, nice situation. Very sad situation for South Africa at the time. Many people lost their life stupidly because they couldn't answer a question. It was very unjust, very incoherent, but very sad. In 1994, after Mandela and many other black people fought very hard, the country became free. Before the country became free, they went through the first election ever in South Africa. First democratic election where everybody was allowed to vote. Because South Africa is an African country, obviously there are more black people than any other race. Black people came together as one and voted out the white racist people at the time. Yes, they were racist because they didn't want to mingle with black people. That's what racist is, right? Okay, so for the very first time in 1994, the election went where many black people came together under the umbrella of the ANC and won the election. They gave African people hope for the future. African people were then free to go and play where they wanted, drink water with wherever they want, because at the time, white people and black people could not drink water from the same fountain in the street. There were benches for white and benches for black. There were beaches for white and beaches for black. There were schools for white and schools for black. After that election, black people could then, you know what, I'm going to town. Because back in time, black people could not go to town. They needed something like a visa to leave their neighborhood to go to town. Very sad. In the lands of their ancestors, after the election in 1994, there was hope. There was a future for black people. There was expectation for a black child. Unfortunately, many years down the line, things changed because the country changed. Corruption, hunger, lack of jobs, lack of opportunities for most black people. And they were very fed up, very sad. Because black people are in power now. Shouldn't we be fine now? I mean, if when white people were in power, whites were good, why aren't we good now that black people are in power? The president is black. His vice minister, whoever, whatever, everybody's black. Why are we not doing good? So, unfortunately, fellas, corruption, criminality, and many other negative things happen. And that's obviously when it happens more and more and more, people get fed up. I mean, you trust somebody with your future, you trust somebody with taking care of you. You trust a family member. You trust somebody because he's black like you, hoping that he's going to do things good. But unfortunately, you realize that, hey, why does it feel like before you came into power, we were kind of nicer than we are now? And I'm not saying apartheid was good. What I'm saying is there was perhaps a level of security, a level of control over crime. Let me remind you, Johannesburg and Durban and Cape Town are among the most dangerous cities in the world. I'm not saying that. You can check that for yourself. So the level of crime rose drastically. Very sad situation. Many people in South Africa, even South Africans, have to look over their shoulders, make sure nobody's coming behind them. But that seemed not to be the case during apartheid. So many people were very angry at that. There are many theories to that, obviously. We're not going to get into that today. So, for the very first time, the ANC, the political party that was predominantly black, has not won majority. So now they are forced to share power with white people from the DA. This is the DA. The DA is predominantly white. Okay. Yes, there are black people as well that vote for the DA, but it is predominantly white. When it first started, it was a white party. Until democracy, black people got inside too. The ANC is predominantly black, but you can find here and there some white people too. The baseline is this. The ANC had the power, the vote, the people. Since democracy, since 1994, 30 years ago, they had majority. They have now lost majority. And now they are forced to go into coalition with another political party. And the other political options are the DA, which is a white political party, the EFF, that is led by Julius Malema. Julius Malema is a Pan-Africanist. He wants open borders and many other things. Many South Africans don't necessarily agree with that. The IFP is a very old political party as well. And MK is a KwaZulu-Natal based political party that was first the armed part of the ANC, but now led by Jacob Zuma, former president of South Africa. So the ANC had to choose between one of these political parties to make an alliance in order to have majority. But to the surprise of everybody, guess who they chose? They chose the DA. The DA is what is known as a predominantly white political party to make an alliance with. Is this good news? Question mark. That's for you to answer. Because now that you've signed up with the DA, I mean, many years ago, we've heard stories. Many people blame white people for all the bad things that happen in South Africa. Now that the ANC has gone in coalition with the DA, will they then later on claim again that the white people did negative things after you've worked with them? If things go wrong, somewhere in the future, if they won majority again, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can change from hot and cold. Now, is this good news? Some people believe it is good news. At last, the dream of Nelson Mandela of having a rainbow nation just signifying people from different race and cultures and religion coming together to form a coalition to build the country. Is this a good opportunity for South Africa at last to stop classifying people by them races and look at each other as just human beings so they can build the country? You tell me. Is this maybe good news because then people of the ANC or the black people will not feel entitled anymore? They will serve the population. They will deliver the services because now they're going to be checked by other members, specifically from the DA. The coalition government is going to be very interesting. And many people are asking questions because the DA and the ANC do not align on many things. Number one, the BEE, which is a Black Economical Empowerment. This was a program created to help black people elevate their economical level very quickly. In other words, because black people suffered for a long time, let's give them opportunities. Okay, let's make things easy for black people. A company must have a black leader, a black CEO, or black somewhere up there in management level. That was BEE, to empower black people. And the DA and many people don't necessarily believe in that. They think 30 years is long enough for black people to catch up. They shouldn't be given things on a silver plate. How are they going to manage that? Now, BRICS. ANC believes in BRICS. South Africa's in BRICS through the ANC. Does the DA believe in BRICS? Question mark. Vladimir Putin. South Africa has supported Putin in his war in Ukraine for the longest time. We can see it. We know it. Now that they work in coalition, we know the DA doesn't necessarily believe in that. The DA president, John Steenhuisen, supports Ukraine. He went to Ukraine. He went to pay respect to the dead people in Ukraine. How are they going to manage this? The ANC aligning with Russia, the DA on the other hand aligning with Ukraine. Will Russia lose the support of South Africa after this? Question mark. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. I know many people are disappointed. Many people I know. Critics are disappointed because they feel like white South Africans should not necessarily be in power because they feel like Africa belongs to Africans. Now, can we really say that? Isn't somebody born in Africa an African, independent of their race and color? Well, the Constitution of South Africa says anybody born in South Africa is South African. Now, whatever your opinion is based on that just remains really just a sentiment. Let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure, fellas. God bless.